Live here on my Facebook page, and we're going to be channeling Archangel Michael. And I know that he has a message for us, so I decided to schedule this under my event area. If you guys want to check out the upcoming events here on my Facebook page, click events. Now, Big Mike's here with me because apparently my soul has asked him to be here with me. So my soul is a smart cookie and has asked him to show up and be like a second spirit guide for me. My main spirit guide, I've done a lot of incarnations with him, a lot of lifetimes, a lot of romantic ones. And he also likes to joke around and make me laugh a lot of the time. So here we go. Now we're going to delve in and see what Archangel Michael would like us to hear about from him. All right, and then I'm going to take your questions after he has completed his message. All right, so what I'm doing here is not trance channeling. I'm not exiting my body entirely. I am just letting him wash me over with his energy, and I'd probably say I'm channeling around 40 to 50% of him, but I'm still here. Okay? All right, ready? For those of you who are not aware, I am Archangel Michael. He wants to correct me. He says, I am Big Mike, also known as Archangel Michael. He loves to make you laugh, but he can be real serious when he needs to be too. Ready? There are a lot of deliberate things taking place on Earth at this time. Things in which you feel are out of control, or simply put, occurring because people are running amok. There is a lot of purposeful chess pieces being played on Earth right now. He's saying, unfortunately, a lot of the funds that are needed for your own countries are being given away. And he's putting in quotations, given away to other countries. Simply put, purposely given away. And shall we say, also taken for one's own gain. So again, the few get wealthier while the masses suffer. But always remember, there is always, he's talking about like a light. He's also talking about there's always another way. So even when things seem absolutely dire, difficult, hard, okay, no matter what, remember, there is always a way. Okay, so he's asking me to talk about that for a minute because, 18 years ago, before I started channeling him, it was woe is me, oh, life's so hard, lack thinking, worry, okay? And it didn't really teach me anything. I just kept spiraling on a hamster wheel. I just kept doing the old tape pattern over and over, and I wasn't really getting anywhere. And when you begin to channel these energies, that's not good enough anymore. It's not good enough to continuously worry and have fearful thoughts and keep going on the same tape pattern. That's not serving you anymore. And so what you come to realize is, maybe I'll try it their way. And their way is the path of least resistance, really. So if you're bucking the current constantly in your mind or in your life, or you're noticing a lot of obstacles in your life that are weighing you down, okay, energetically, financially, emotionally, spiritually, then you've got to find another way. And there always is another way. It's just most of us don't even attempt it. If you don't like your job, if you don't like working for someone, if you want freedom, if you want financial freedom, if you want time freedom, there's another way. There always is. And even if you can't think about what could possibly be the way, they know it. So listen to them, follow their lead, and move in that direction. So the way that I've always done it, even before I could hear them, is I could feel in my chest and my gut, okay? So if I felt like a tight pullback and it wouldn't back off, then I would listen to them. I wouldn't go to that job, or I wouldn't go, whatever it was, I would not go in that direction. And then I would just wait. And then something would open up and it would be way better. And it gave me a lot more freedom. And so I would follow their lead, and it's gotten me this far, which is pretty damn great. So always remember, there's always a way. And that's been my motto over the years. I can sink, I can do the hamster wheel, I can do woulda, coulda, shouldas, maybe if, I don't know, I'm not sure, I'm not certain, but that gets old after a time. And if you're an indigo, it gets old real quick. You don't make it to like the later stages of life and be okay with that. So remember, there's always a way. So if you can't think of the way out or a better path, then ask your team to bring it in. Okay? There's always a way. They might put an insight into your head or an idea, and all of a sudden you're like, okay, or somebody's in front of you and they want you to ask that person for help. However, which way it comes in. All right, let's go. He's talking about nervousness or being nervous. Who wants that to be washed aside for, he's like, mono a mono? Is that how you say it? So me and you, I know I'm saying it wrong, but he's using it in a different language. So it's like, it's just me and you. Ask away. Don't be nervous. Don't be hesitant or nervous to assert yourselves, to ask for help. This journey on earth is meant to be enjoyed for the most part. Yes, you scheduled in some difficulties to learn and grow from here on earth. No, it is not supposed to be difficult non-stop throughout the entire incarnation. Some of you, a very select few of you, may have health conditions which hinder you for a significant amount of time, but that's very few. And even then, you are being helped, you are being guided, you are being assisted. Know this, know this. Okay. Okay, well, I'd like to ask a question. You guys think about the questions that you like to ask and type them in the comments, and then I'm going to do the same thing. Hello, hello. I asked this last night, but I'm going to ask it again. When will we kind of get over to the other side of these worldwide issues and or conflicts? When will it kind of simmer down? like in 8 years. Which makes sense because what they've told me before is it will be completed in 10 years. So it's going to simmer down in 8 years' time, which if we look at a lot of what has transpired in the past, if we could get this moving in a better direction, and that might not always, of course, feel best to everyone because we're not going to please or appease everyone. It's not going to happen. But if we can get it moving in a better feeling place, 8 years coming on the other side of it. He says that there's a lot of shifting, a lot of movement, a lot of shaking off, a lot of transition taking place on Earth. And also there's a lot of unveiling of the darkness taking place on Earth. So I think the darkness means people in places of corruption, lying, using, manipulation, etc. And so much more. Got it. All right. Okay, La Luna. So I can tap into this and see what I pick up. I'm receiving that he's happy, he's being taken care of, he's in the right place with the right individuals looking after him. Thank you, beloved one. That's beautiful. Okay. And okay. Okay. So you know what I'm going to say, Ruby, because you know that I've gone through my journey with intestinal issues and going to gastroenterologists and specialists, right? So, when you go to your local doctor, they might have like 2 weeks worth of training in anything abdominal. They'll probably have to look it up in a book for any signs and symptoms to gauge what it is. But also, when you see a gastroenterologist, they can kind of narrow it down a little bit more with specific tests, which might not be too appealing or enjoyable. But let's see if this is energy or physical. It's physical. It's definitely physical. You know what they're showing me? It looks like a buildup of acid. So, okay. And that's causing grief. Okay. So are you taking antacids, or do you feel like you need to go get Tums or something of the sort to kind of simmer it down? And are you noticing, like, if you were to have foods that are acidic or spicy, you just can't do it, or it's very bothersome? So let me know in the comments what you're eating. And I'm seeing acid in your stomach is affecting the inside lining of your tum-tum. So don't eat it. If my nose keeps tickling over and over again, then I know I've got someone coming in. So, Jesus, would you like to say something now? Yes, please. Thank you, Kristin. I would like each of you to hear my request of you. It is imperative, it is important for each of you to take good care of yourselves. Go within, open your hearts, open your heart chakras, create a healthy, positive space for yourselves. Do not allow the goings on in the world to sink your frequencies often. If you wish to check in from time to time, so be it. However, I prefer each of you to Keep your frequencies high, for it is greatly needed at this time on earth. Thank you, dear ones. Thank you, beloved ones. This is Jesus. All right, Terry, you finally got yourself up and out after worrying about your grandson's health, and you're sitting here on a park bench. How lovely. To release the heaviness. Could you please tell me if my grandson will get through this illness? This illness that he has it's a lesson, or there's a learning taking place from it, not only for himself, but everyone around him. So this is actually, you could call it a teachable teaching experience in which is being produced and agreed upon long before he came here, in order for everyone to learn. And we're learning from the contrast or the experience. And we don't learn from like rainbows and puppies and unicorns. We learn from hardships, difficult moments. And I talk so plainly like this because I've been through it so many times. So I don't get sucked back into it. I just look at it like it's a part of why I am where I am now. I feel like it's going to go on for a time, and then it's going to subside. Because this is what they're doing. They're moving their hand down like this, and the energy subsides. Don't worry. Everything will be all right. Each of you is learning from this experience. Learning more love, compassion, understanding. It's also helping to bring you together a little bit. And they just have a warm smile on their faces. So there you have it. Like, you think hardship is so terrible, but it actually brings the family members together. It's interesting, isn't it? Okay. With you, Joanne, it feels flat. Like you have to have other steps taking place before we focus on this. So it's a matter of, there's other things to focus on that are more important than the business right now. And I know you don't want to hear that, but that's what's being shown to me. Do you want to relay anything else? Nope, that's it. That's it. He just did this. And I was like, okay. I would imagine if I'm feeling Archangel Michael, it might feel a little bit different than somebody else. I can tell you what I experience, a very masculine energy, very tall. If I ask him to move into my home to help keep it elevated, to vacuum anyone and everyone, is like asking a spiritual bouncer to come in your home. I don't sit here and do the white light and sage and crystals. Why? Why don't I do that? A lot of the time it can stem from fear, and I don't operate in fear. So I just don't do that. And because my guardian angels have never told me to do that, even when I'm teaching the Mediumship for Beginners course, I've worked hand in hand with my angels to set up the course guidelines and information to teach. Not one single time have they talked to me about saging, crystals, white light, none of that. Because it's stemming from fear. If you're doing it because you enjoy it and you haven't got an inch of fear in you, then go ahead and do it. Or if you still want to do it, even when you know it's stemming from fear, then do it. That's your free will choosing. I am just not one that operates like that. What they teach is how to elevate your frequency so that you are no longer a vibrational match for anything heavy. If you're talking about something, if you're watching something, if you are thinking about something on a regular basis, and it's really friggin' heavy, then guess what? You're sinking your frequency, and you might be then more of a vibrational match to something coming in. You might also be having experiences with anything lower vibrational because it's meant to awaken you It could also be that they're allowing it to happen because they want you to come off of drugs. I've seen that a billion times in readings. Literally. They know the person will continue on the drug of choice unless they're harassed. So they stop doing the drug of choice. Usually they figure it out on their own, or they'll come to me for a reading. And as soon as they're done with the reading with me, they come off the drug of choice and then they stop getting harassed. So there's a lot of different reasons, but I'm definitely happy that I've asked Archangel Michael to come move into my home so that he can shield my home to keep it more elevated, more blissful, more high vibrational, and I don't have to pick up on the outside energy going on in the world. And he's like my spiritual bouncer. So another way you can do is hold your hand out near a doorway and put your hand right into his energy, and then you'll know which doorway he stands next to. And it will be one of your main doorways exiting your home. So that's something I would consider as well. He's telling me you'll feel warmth, pressure, and masculine energy. That's what I'm receiving with that answer. He's not one to produce the tingles. Is that funny or what? And it's so true, because I've never gotten tingles with him. I do get like a suctioning type sensation off the top of my head. But that was like early days when that was happening. And I was like, what is he doing? And then, he just tells me he's vacuuming me. So just sucking all the, heavy stuff out of your head. Why are you on a fast speed? They're talking about incoming light frequency, which is picking up the pace. They're also talking about you elevating in frequency. And so you're in a higher vibrational frequency. And when you elevate in frequency, so you have more high vibrational thoughts, more high vibrational motion, more uplifting feeling in the world, then you're operating at a faster speed as well. So it just means that so it just means that you want to move at a faster pace because you can, because your frequency is moving faster as you elevate up. And they're also talking about you going out and having experiences and having fun. Isn't that cool? So I don't know what you feel like doing, but if it's on your mind and it feels good, go and do it right now. Go do it. This is a good time right now for you. They're telling me this. Isn't that cool? You know how you can communicate better with him. It's just a matter of talking to him. But as we recall last time, this is about you doing it on your own right now. And when you kind of get to a certain point down the road, then it's him coming back in a little bit more. I get quiet that mind of yours. How many people on earth can quiet their mind for a full minute? So what I do when I'm channeling is I just tune out and I quiet my mind long enough for them to produce their thought form in my mind. But in the beginning, when I first start, it's not sounding like their pitch and tone of voice. It sounds like my pitch and tone of voice. And then as they come in, I think that is more of a comfortable way of channeling. So I'm not going, hey, Kristin, it's Archangel Michael here. Holy smokes! That might freak a lot of people out, right? So it's about quieting the mind long enough to allow them to produce thought forms in your mind. It might sound like Claire audience, where they break it down word by word, or it might come in as claircognizance, where it's like a full sentence of a thought form and you are the one thinking it, except you're not forming the thought and you're not forming the words. For those of you that feel like you want to learn more about channeling, the Mediumship for Beginners course is coming up November 15th until November 29th. It's 2 weeks. 2 mediums coming on live with you and practicing with you. And we're learning how to use angel cards, but we're also learning the huge variety of different ways that your team of angels are communicating with you. It's 60% off right now, so if that's something of interest, you can go and check out KristinDaviesMedium.com, and I'll put the contact information above and below this video, okay? So if that's something that interests you to connect with spirit, to listen, to hear them, then you can do that. But I always say to people, unless you're like really thinking about it a lot, like if you're like, and it feels flat, then don't come take the course. But if you're thinking about it and you feel drawn towards it and you want to hang out with really high vibrational students and have fun with the medium teachers, then yes, come. So, in the course, it's really about teaching how to elevate your frequency. It's teaching about food. It's teaching about angel cards. It's teaching you about boundaries. We are going to delve into your starseed origins. We're also going to delve into the elemental kingdom. And we're also going to tune into the multiple different ways that you can communicate with your team of angels. All right, so the job that you're starting next week, it'll do for now. And I get kind of like, I don't get like a super open, happy feeling or sensation. It's kind of like I'm doing this because I need to. Because it's a means to an end. It's meant to bring in the money. Is it going to last for years upon years upon years? No. It's a means to an end. So where is the end? The end is when you've had enough, or when the angels bring something in that's even better. Okay? So if you want something better, ask them to bring it in. Okay. I'll try and answer that one there, Oana. Okay. So we're honing in on David. Okay. They're just teasing a little bit, and they're smiling, and they're piggybacking off of what they just said as far as a means to an end. And they're saying, speaking of a means to an end, it's like you haven't wrapped your head around it yet. But you can't, can you say it a different way? Okay. I don't like the way that they're saying this. It seems a bit harsh, but if they're saying it like this, then it's meant to be a kick in the pants, and it's meant to be harsh, okay? You can't flog a dead horse. You can't, make something happen when it's not there anymore. And it's really coming down to deserving better. Deserving better and needing better. So when you've had enough, let us know, and we will begin helping you. I feel like you're like wanting help, but then you just keep on doing the same old. And it doesn't work like that. So when you ask for help, you actually have to want to make changes. Do you want to say anything else? No. He's saying you can call upon him anytime that you wish, and that's it. That's what I'm getting from Archangel Michael. Okay. Holly, feel it. Will my daughter be okay? Feel it wash through your body and also through your chest and your stomach. I get yes, but I get a subtle pullback. So I feel a yes response in my body, but I'm getting like an offside shot of something else. She's going to be all right, but there is some lessons being learned, taught and learned. So whatever's happening right now with her is happening for a reason, and there's a lot of learning happening from it. But she is going to be all right. What they're focused on is, are you going to be all right? That's more of the question. So really, they want you to be all right and make sure that you are grounded and that you are taken care of. They just said to me, I don't know where you go to connect with your team, but they're talking about you going to a holy place. And that doesn't necessarily mean a church. That can also mean nature or a place where you feel really good. So wherever you go, it could be in your car when you're alone having a latte from Starbucks and it's your good feeling place. Okay. So wherever you're going, where you feel really good and you're nice and quiet, that's where they want you to connect with them. Your team of angels. And they're asking you to do this. Isn't that cool? Okay, so love it. 22. You know what I've been seeing recently is 444 like crazy. What does that mean? The angels are with you and they're watching over you. Also, I've been seeing 1111 like crazy. That means good things are coming. The tide is shifting. Good things are coming down the pipe. So if you're seeing ones a lot, 111, 1111, really, really good. Really good. I'm seeing a lot of people here where I live. They are struggling hardcore on the streets. The homeless are just getting, it's just not good. They're struggling big time. And there's this fridge that's built into this fence in the city where I live. Somebody put it in there. It's like a open, it used to be a pop machine, but it has a glass door on the front and some shelving. So everyone in the community has been putting food in there for the people that need it, that are hungry. Because I think a lot of the people on the streets, they don't want to go into the centers because that's where you kind of get beaten up and your stuff gets stolen. Yeah, you might get a meal, but it's a lot of heavy duty druggies and like they've taken over the entire street outside and it's just not a healthy, safe place to go. And then they pitch their tents out front and they sleep there. But this part of the area where I go is a different part of the area of the city. And I said, I'm going to start putting my leftovers in there so they can have it. I don't know if they'll eat it, but I suppose I look okay enough. They can look at me and know that I'm not there to, harm anyone. So I go and I put my leftovers in there, and this man comes up and he's only got one leg and he's on crutches and he hauls across the street to get the food. And he takes all the food. So I'm like, okay, so obviously he's hungry and he's going to take my food. So I go to the store and I purchase $45 worth of groceries. And I figure they're probably not eating a whole lot of vegetables or fruit. So I get some of that and I get some cookies and I put it in there. And this guy is checking the fridge and then he keeps walking down the street. And I say, hey. He doesn't hear me, and then he turns around and he comes back to the fridge. I said, I just put some food in the fridge. He goes, who are you working for? I don't know if I can trust anybody that leaves food in this fridge. I go, well, I don't work for anybody, and that's up to you whether you trust me or not. Like, that's up to you. And then he says, it's been so hard, and I just want you to listen. And And then I'm like, I'm not up for the sob story. That's not going to make this any better or easier. And I know maybe he wants to talk to someone, but it's not going to be me today on this front. And I say, listen, just go in and take as much food as you want. I said, I don't blame anyone. The groceries are so astronomically high. I can see why you can't afford to get these groceries. And I put mandarin oranges and bananas and some Greek salad, like all the good stuff in there. I said, just go in there, take it, and enjoy yourself. I said, I love this, and I'm going to keep putting food in here. And he just started breaking down and crying. Because he's like, somebody actually gives a shit about me. Somebody cares. So if you guys can find something like that in your local area and you have leftover food that you know you're not going to eat, or maybe stuff in the freezer that you know you aren't going to touch, you know, these people need it. And or if you feel like just getting 99-cent bananas at the grocery store, that's the bare minimum. Because wintertime's coming. And, you know, if really our governments aren't going to help our people, that's the least that I can do to help. And I made a promise in my head that I wasn't going to judge what they were going to do with the food. So whether they're going to take the food and trade it for drugs, or trade it for socks, or trade it for something else with other people, or maybe it was people that aren't even homeless taking the food. That's not up to me. I put the food in, and then that's up to wherever it's going to go. So that's what I've decided to do. And I think that's important, especially if, like, somebody's got to care. You know, even if it's just one moment. And I could see that that really touched him. And I think that that's important. Whoa, I think we're diving in off the deep end with the Antichrist talk there, Anna. If you keep focusing on that and you keep thinking that way, let's turn that ship around. If you type in angel number 666, I can guarantee you it's not going to say Antichrist. That's what I suggest you do. You type 666 angel numbers through Google and then see what comes up. But I don't think we need to move in that direction. At least I won't. I won't go there with you. All right. Yes. Yes. Okay. I'm going to take the last message that's going to come through for each of us. No matter how rough the waters get, how turbulent the days ahead are, each of you are able to build a stable raft. Do not delay, dear ones. Do not delay. Thank you. This is Archangel Michael. Beautiful.